Hello and welcome to 20 Years a Migrant. And today we are talking about families. Oh, hello, hi, I am Lawrence.
And I'm NyariClaire.
And this is 20 Years a Podcast.
20 years a migrant.
20 Years a Migrant. It's a podcast about life in the UK.
Yeah.
And today we have a guest. Very first guest.
Our very first guest.
We say that, right? We don't know what order this will be released, so... Oh, yeah, well, it's the very first guest anyway, regardless.
It's our very first guest, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's what it is.
So, we've got...
Introduce
yourself.
Gertis.
Gertis. You know, I was going to say your government name. I was like, no, that's not... We shouldn't do that, should we? So, that's why I paused. I'm like, okay, what should I call you?
It's Gertis.
Yeah, so we've got Gertis. She's the host of a podcast called...
Lift as you rise, emotional intelligence.
It's much cleverer than this business that what we do here.
They talk a lot about emotional intelligence. It's a YouTube podcast?
Yes, it's a YouTube channel called Lift as you rise, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Where we just talk about issues to do with emotional intelligence.
Okay.
The catchphrase is we grow through what we go through.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a tagline.
We need to?
We need a tagline.
We do need a tagline.
Ours is just life in the UK.
I think that's a tagline in itself.
Huh?
Life in the UK, as in it's quite broad, isn't it?
Well, I got it from here. From this book. Yeah, because there's a book called Passing the Life in the UK Test. And I'll be asking you guys a few questions.
Is that my receipt?
Concentrate.
Can I just have a look? It'd be interesting to see when I took this because I naturalized in 2015.
No,
so.
it says care training.
Yeah. That's the one.
When was it for?
Payment received for life in the UK test. There.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's never
2011. That's when I did my test.
You paid £34.73.
Yeah.
The V11.
I wonder how much it is now.
How much did she pay?
£34.73.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, to write the test.
Is it not thousands of money?
No. It's just the test, though.
Oh, just the test. Okay, yes,
not,
now
not,
I remember.
Not the naturalization part of it, but yeah.
How many times did you take the test?
Just once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm one of those people, like, I passed my driving test the first time.
Okay.
Theory the second time. Because when I started, they just started, like, you know, what do you call it?
Has a perception.
Has a perception.
Yeah.
No one knew what was happening.
So you had to do it twice.
I had to do it. I was like, oh. So I think the guy at the test center told me what to do. I was like, right. Then I went back the next week.
Yeah.
And then I passed.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But anyway, never mind that. So today we're talking about
families. Yeah.
And what
family
is
relationships.
what it's like to be a family or not to have family in the UK. And we all have family here, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go first. I don't know why I say that. So myself, I have got all my siblings here.
Okay.
My two brothers and my sister, they are all here, and all their babies. They are now here. The last baby came last year. I say a baby, she's 20. She's 20 something.
Oh.
She's nearly 30.
She's 29. 28.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it kind of made the move to the UK a bit easier to have people around. Although I met friends. I met really, really, really good friends.
Yes.
Yeah, but family has always been around for me.
Yeah. For me, I mean, like, it was my brother was here. And the funny thing is, right, so my brother was in Cape Town. That's where he did his degree, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then he looked for jobs, as you do, and he found a job in Nottingham.
Oh,
right?
really?
So he comes to Nottingham and he starts working. Then he's walking around in Nottingham town centre and bumps into my cousin, Takura.
Oh.
Right? And he's like, dude, what you doing
What
here?
a
And he's like,
coincidence,
what you doing here?
Yeah.
This is first cousins. So our parents are siblings. His mom and my dad are brother and sister. So they both bump into each other. They're like, dude, what, you know? And then the next thing he's like, yeah, my I think at that time it was his girlfriend. My girlfriend's here with my daughter. and my mom is here. He was like, what? So now
so
we
you
find
didn't
out.
even know?
Yeah, my brother didn't know at the time.
Yes, yeah.
So yes, my aunt also was in Nottingham. So when I came, hey, Nottingham, that's where.
So we know who to blame then.
Yeah, we know who to blame.
Yeah, because.
So I came and I've been in Nottingham since, and then my young brother, he came, he's in Nottingham. So yeah, so.
Okay, you need to venture somewhere else, guys.
Eh?
You're allowed to go somewhere else.
We are allowed, but this is Kumusha for us. This is our Kumusha.
We left Nottingham.
Ancestral home of Nottingham, of England.
I'm gonna get you out of Nottingham. There's better out there.
Come to Coventry. Coventry is much better. Why?
Do you know what's funny? Someone at work said Coventry is like the place where things go to die or something. I can't remember what they said, but they were harsh. Yeah, no,
that's a bit harsh.
It was a bit harsh. It was a bit harsh, but they were talking about the lack of job opportunities in Coventry.
Really?
Because we're talking about all the jobs that are within the civil service, and no one wants to go to Coventry. But now they're starting to build stuff in Coventry because it's cheap.
I tried to get a job. I tried to get it the financial ombudsman. Remember the thing I went to? It was in Coventry. Yeah, well, it's not too far. But anyway, Gertis, your turn.
Oh, I would say when I came to England, I was quite reluctant. My brother wanted me to come, but that time Zimbabwe was so exciting because I had just won the Miss Mutare title. Ooh. So I was at the peak of, I had just graduated and I was the currently reigning Miss Mutare. And I had just got a job, and with that job, they were like, oh, we've got a celebrity at the school. Oh. So they promoted me straight away, and my brother was like, come here to England so you can do care work. And my dad was like, no way. I've been paying $3,000 US at Africa University every year. Yeah. Not for my daughter to go and bomb wife. Sorry if you don't mind me saying. But that's what my dad's mentality was.
What swung you there? What made you come? Was it your choice? Was it like your brother was more won over your dad? Or was it like...
Yes. At first it was my brother saying, you need to come, and I didn't want to come. But then what he decided to do, one of the holidays, Christmas holidays, he came back home and he gave us something like £20 each. That time it was 3 times my salary as a teacher. So my dad was like, oh, in that case, off you go. So he let me go. So at first it was me and my dad were like, no way. Yeah. But then after that, I realized that there was more to England than where I was. So I ended up landing in Nottingham, where I met NyariClaire.
I'm the only one who was clever enough to go somewhere else.
So which means,
where was your brother at the time, then?
He was in Birmingham.
So how did you end up in Nottingham?
What he did, he came with his friends to pick me up at the airport.
Right.
And then he said, let's pass through my cousin's house. And then in Nottingham.
Who's your cousin as well?
Okay. Yes. So when we passed through, my cousin was like, no way, you can't go and live with the boys there. I was about 21. So she said, no, leave my sister here.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up. Otherwise, we're on our way to his house.
Yeah.
And then he said, out of excitement, let's pass through my cousin's house.
Yeah.
And then, I ended up in Nottingham. So you would support me. But then a year after that, he had an accident, and he's no more. But he
passed away a year after you came.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, he let you down.
I know, right? Because it was like he brought me here, and I was excited, and then it's probably good because now my other brothers are here. Yeah, and I was here, and I was ending up doing what he was doing in terms of support back home.
Support. Right. Okay. Yeah, but it must have been tough though. So when he passed on, you had no siblings here, and then what is it? Just
I was like the breadwinner. Yeah.
So is it just cousins?
Yes, it was just cousins.
For how long?
Because everyone has cousins around.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean? As in
No. For how long were you the only one here from your from your
until last year.
Really?
That's
So
only
20,
when
20
my
odd years
two
you were the
brothers
only
are
one
here.
here.
Oh yeah.
Wow. You must have missed your family.
Oh yeah. I would occasionally go back.
I don't know what
yeah.
I would have done though.
No, because for me, when I got here, I think my kind of worry about family, my kind of worry was because my brother had 2 kids. They were quite young anyway, so I think it was pretty easy. But I've always just had this thing that some of the kids are not going to identify.
As Zimbabwean?
Not as Zimbabwean, me as in like.
Okay.
I think it's the person to blame was myself, because even just my cousins, I've got cousins here who've got kids who are more grown.
Yeah.
But I know I'm the one to blame. But I thought maybe these kids are going to like, this guy, this African guy. you know what I mean? Because when you're just fresh, and
yes.
But then you find that some of these kids, they are really, really good. They're really, really well behaved. Not, I can't say well behaved, but the thing is, they recognize that they are not from here as such.
Yeah.
And they know
they've got an identity.
They've got an identity, and they know who's uncle, who's auntie.
Yeah.
You know, when you were saying that, I just remembered that. Would I call it a film? The film you did about being an uncle.
Oh,
and then you interviewed all your. Well, I don't know if it was all of them, but majority of them.
Yeah.
To say, when you see me, what do you think? Or when you see me, what resonates, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember
Meals.
all your nieces and nephews here. Was it just the 2 you interviewed? I can't remember now.
No, it was more. I spoke to Shaza, Mills, and Lorraine Tariro.
Okay, so the 2 nieces that were here, who are here in England, who grew up here, were like, yeah, you're our uncle, and the one in Zim was like, you're my dad.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because that's a Zimbabwean, you know, like your father's brother is
like your dad,
like your dad.
Yeah.
Whereas here they were like, yeah, you're my uncle, but they still had the same love for you, regardless of the fact that one saw you as someone who's like a dad, and the other one saw you as a friend / uncle.
Even
funkle, if you like.
even the dynamic, right?
I like that.
So even the dynamic was quite different, right?
Yeah.
Because remember when I said to Mills, I just say she grew up here, and I said to her, would I discipline you? I know I can't discipline her, maybe not in that kind of. Because what she said, I think what she said was, how I tell her off is like maybe to stop embarrassing things as such, but not disciplining as such. You know what I mean? Like, you know. But my other niece who grew up in Zim was like, yeah, you can discipline me. You know, it's that kind of dynamic. It's quite different. Like, you know, how kids grow up here. That it's always interesting when you look at that, because just the dynamic of someone who grew up in the UK. Or a child who grew up in the UK and a child who grew up in
Zim.
Oh, reminds me, my father-in-law.
My father-in-law, that's my dad.
My brother-in-law. No, my brother-in-law.
Nyari's
right?
brother, yeah.
He said that one day he said he couldn't believe it when he told us, I said, oh, Daddy, you're so silly, right? Can you imagine telling your dad that you're so silly?
You're so silly.
Yeah. But the thing is, we're like, oh, you're so silly. Whatever he done, right, he was silly.
Yeah, it was silly, yeah.
Look at this young kid telling me I'm silly. Do you know?
They get it from Peppa Pig, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when they're like, oh, silly daddy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it's something I don't think I would have ever said something like that to my dad.
Oh, no.
Going back to the main topic, what has been difficult for me is we sort of get scattered, because initially I used to live very close to my brother's Robert, right? We were very, very the same neighborhood, right? It was so easy. I could walk there, I could cycle there.
Yeah.
It was like 5 minutes away. And then now I'm a few hundred miles away, right?
Yeah.
And everyone is, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've lost something. It's, you know, because talking on the phone, you can talk to someone. Like, I rarely spend a lot of time on the phone with my brothers. You like the conversation that just are to the point. Then you're right. But I like to hang out. I like to hang out with my brothers. I like to hang out with my sister, and being that kind of distance has been like something a little bit difficult for me to deal with.
Would you say it's the distance, or it's the fact that making connections in England is different to Zimbabwe, because I remember being in Zim, right? And it felt easy to just go to Harare, to go to Masvingo, to go and see so and so, to like constant holidays, whatever, weekends. You were constantly traveling to see whoever you could, or they were coming to see you, whatever. But somehow in this country, it's just difficult to put that event in a calendar.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Even with friends, it's not even just family members, but with friends, you'll find your text. Yeah, come see me this weekend, I'm free. And then they're like, oh, but I'm not free that weekend, I'm free this weekend. And, but in Zim, it's like,
you can just turn up.
So easy.
Somebody's door.
You just turn up at someone's door.
Before you know it, you're there for 10 years. With your suitcase full of clothes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I think, my uncles, my mom's brothers used to do that. They'll just come, and then the next thing they're there for a month, 2 months. So you're like, but you've got a family back wherever you've left, But I think it's more the country itself that rather than.
But how does the country do that?
Because really, Milton Keynes is like an hour away, an hour 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's not far if you think about it. It's like, even let's say for example we lived in London, all of us, even with your family members. And then you're like driving from one side of London to the other. It's 1 hour, 20 minutes, right? Just to go around. It's not far if you think about it.
I think it's a culture thing.
But but here, yeah.
Where we've merged in with the British culture so much that you find a simple thing like my brother who came like last month or last year. If he says to me, can I have Nyari's number? Mm-hmm. I would say, well, let me check with her if I can give you the number.
That's polite.
Whereas, but still, in Zim, you just give them the number or they just call you.
Yeah.
As in, it's like, oh, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, but then it is like when someone calls you random, I'm thinking, who's calling me? No one answers. People don't answer.
Yeah.
Answer calls.
That's another thing as well, as in, it's like, all those things. In Zim, I don't think it's like that.
No, it's not.
It's probably because...
Even random numbers, people will answer because they want to know who's calling.
And besides, for someone to call, it's quite expensive as well.
Yeah. So but they must have made the effort. There's no way it's a wrong number.
Yeah, for me,
person's looking for me.
I answer calls from random numbers. I just answer them.
Because it just reminded me when you were talking about it. At my workplace, we were just talking about generally if you're to lose a loved one, here they would say you don't just turn up to somebody's house just because they've lost someone. And I was like, well, I would be offended if you don't turn up, because in our culture, how you support someone who's grieving is turn up to their house. So do you know, we were just having a conversation like that. When I lost my brother, one of my bosses turned up. It was so humbling. But then it's like maybe that rapport, educating each other. But then with family, we just tend to do that, isn't it? As in, you just turn up, and there's nothing wrong with that.
You know what? Like, I made a film about grief, okay? And the people I spoke to, all of them were saying that what they wanted at the time was to be given space.
Yes.
Because sometimes people will come and then you don't actually grieve. You're just hosting people who are at your house. They're supposed to be comforting you, but you are not grieving. When they leave, and then you start grieving. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand, right? I learned that many years ago back in Zimbabwe when there's a guy who worked with, he was ill, and I think almost the whole company went to see him after work at Parenya, right? And then at one time he was like, okay, guys, you can go now, I'm tired. And I realized, because everyone was just going to see him. Do you know what I mean, right? That's when I learned my lesson. Then late 90s when I learned that, like, okay, you know what? This guy is actually tired. He's actually tired, right?
Yeah.
And we feel, sometimes we do that maybe we mean well, Or some people do it to feel good
yeah.
for themselves.
Yes.
But when you think of
Tick
it,
box.
sometimes you need to give that person space. Remember when MK, when he lost his mother-in-law, I would check. I said before in there, I checked. Is there loads of people in that house? Right?
All right. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
People mean well, but
Yes.
inwardly maybe you are still
You're actually tired. Yeah.
you're tired or you're dealing with stuff. But I'm sure it works for some people. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
But for me, I would like to check. I
Yeah.
would like to check, because it's people will be overwhelmed, and then here's Lawrence coming. Hello, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and it's kind of it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because our culture says this is what we do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's like now being here, like we're saying, life in the UK, it's a little bit different because we have to check with people.
yeah,
Can I come, etc.
Yeah.
But then again, like looking at Gertis, for example, when she lost her brother, she was the only sibling here. She
Yeah.
didn't have her siblings,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm assuming you appreciated it when people came because
of
you didn't
course,
have
yeah.
anyone.
Wow, she's not
Yeah.
gonna say that. She's not gonna say that on this recording. Like,
Well, yeah,
you
of course,
never
yeah.
let me
By the way. No, but I mean generally, because in this country you don't have all your relatives. It's not like
Yeah.
back 20 years ago when all of us were still in Zim,
Yeah.
where you can say every single relative, maybe one or two are not there, but everyone is there. But now here it's like if something were to happen to me, or most of my relatives are in Zimbabwe. Apart from my mom's side of the family, most of them are here, but most from my dad's side of the family are in Zimbabwe. So it's
Yeah.
like, who would kind of
Yeah.
hang out, and I don't know. It's just it's a
No,
weird
tricky one.
Okay,
It's
I'm
tricky,
not
isn't
saying,
it?
I'm not saying don't go see your relatives. I'm not saying that.
No.
Yeah,
I know that's not
I know
what
what
you're
you
saying,
mean,
but
and
I'm
you're
just
right,
saying
yeah.
as
It's
in
an awareness thing that, so like for me, maybe this is why, is this something we acquired here as in Emele? So I say,
Yeah, of course,
I'm going to
because-
check with my sister, are you at home? Because I did check, she's not home tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I say,
Yeah.
I check. I don't know, is it a matter of respecting, or is it a matter of, like, just the way the country is set up?
But you see, this is the thing, though,
it's
because
for me it started, when we were doing shift work, and people were not available on weekends because that's where the money was.
Oh yeah. Double.
Right, so you couldn't just say, "Yeah, I'm gonna come see you at the weekend," because that
You'd be
person
wasting your
working-
time.
you're
They
wasting
won't be
your time.
there.
No one will be there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, it could be that's where it started. But then also, I was just thinking, because I was about to say, like when we first came as well, I remember just going to people's houses, particularly for parties.
Yeah, who just turn up?
And I remember you'd come and pick me up to come to your sister's. I was actually looking because I know it was her 60th.
Yes.
And then I remember the 40th
Yes.
party, and you came to
Yes.
pick me up. And and that was the first time I went to her house.
Yes.
And you came to pick me up. Like, come to my sister's party.
Yeah,
And I
I
was
know, right?
"Hey." And this was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, she's 40, and she had her kids and all this, and that's where I met Carol and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff, and
Oh.
and Nicole. Yeah, that was the first time I met them.
Oh really?
Yeah, so that was interesting to just turn up at someone's 40th
Yeah.
party, but that was a thing back then.
Yes.
Whereas now it's like obviously by invite only.
Yeah.
And
What I
you
like,
have to pay for your
though-
own meal.
Yeah. What I like from what you're saying is when you mention about an awareness thing, as in, I think the first step is being mindful of the fact that much as you want to be, to support them, you might actually be doing the opposite.
Yeah.
So that first step is important. However, the way it worked for me, having people around, was, when you lose someone, you get so confused. Anything can happen
Yeah.
in that, like, as soon as it happens. So when people come, and by the way, sometimes it depends on the people as well, the relationship you have with those people.
Yeah.
And when the people value you, and they're feeling for you, and they're there with you in that journey come,
Yeah.
you find that distraction, you actually need it sometimes.
Yeah.
When they leave, that's when you sort of come back to yourself and come to terms with the fact that you've lost your brother. But what they have done already, they've showered you with the love, they've cushioned you so much that you know you're not alone. So by the time you start dealing with it, you're at a different stage.
Yeah, I think it depends on who it is who's coming to see you.
Yeah.
I feel like we're talking about grief more now.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
To do with family, relationship.
Yeah, because that's what family does, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's Because the thing is, going back to cousins, for example, cousins, uncles, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've got is it my cousin or is it my uncle?
He's your uncle.
My uncle.
I know which one it is because you always say that to me. Uncle Charles.
I saw him like for the first time here. Is it 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
Okay.
Right.
Was that the first time you actually met him?
Here, yeah.
Oh, you mean here, but you'd seen him in Zim?
Yeah.
Okay,
Zim,
all right, okay.
But now his kids are grown. One is going to US, finishing uni. One is working and things like that, right? And I had this apprehension that I had never met his wife. I never met his wife.
What was stopping you from going to see him? Because you've been here 20 years. Or at least at that time, 17.
Well, you didn't come see me.
No, I'm just... okay, what stopped you from seeing each other?
I have no idea.
Put it that way.
I have no idea. But I think what connected us was cycling. Right? Because he's a monster at cycling. Right?
Wow.
So that kind of thing. So start talking about cycling like on Facebook and then I want to do some rides. Then I was like, okay, we can't just, leave our wives and say we're going to go for rides. Let's meet up and then if we do something, at least the wives
they're
like,
together.
this guy. Do you know what I mean?
Some master plan that is.
Wow, it's not a master plan. We've only done one ride.
And we didn't actually meet. The wives did not actually meet. But
you met though.
Huh? No. I mean for that ride.
No. No.
The plan was when you do your rides, the wives,
No, that took
doing their own thing.
Yeah. So I've toyed with the idea of making a documentary about that I'm related to strangers.
Okay.
Right? So
interesting.
some of my cousins that they've got kids I've never met. I know I will know this is my cousin. I know they've got kids, but I've never met their kids, and it's something that can be a bit daunting for me. Like, what is it going to be like? And I tend to start judging. This is when I start judging, not judging as such, just sort of unfairly painting a picture of what the kids will be like. Have you ever had any problem with that yourself?
Yeah, that happens a lot. I think it's mainly.
I can't think of any of my immediate cousins.
Your family is weird because you all get along.
Do you know what happens?
These guys
though?
They get along so much. I'm so jealous.
No,
Honestly,
now that you're saying
that.
it, you've just reminded me. I think it happens a lot. Like, say in my family, you find that because we are a bit on the younger side of the family.
Okay.
You find that when people used to come back at home, the introductions would be done, and they would never actually call you to say, "This is your uncle, this is whatever."
So when you say younger side of the family, what do you mean?
Like if I look at, there's some people who are like my mom's real brothers, step brothers. I've never met them, but my older brothers know them.
Okay, are they here?
Yeah. I've never met them. They talk about them.
Yeah.
But if I bump into them, I don't know them. But my older brothers, like the brother I was talking about, the late brother, you used to go and visit him because when they were growing up back home, they used to sort of get introduced to them. It's like,
I see what you mean.
If you come, it's easier for Maya not to know who you are. And if you're my cousin, she would just grow up knowing, that lady who used to come to my house. That auntie.
When you say that, my dad was ever so proud. He was just one of those proud men, I guess. And whenever we were he would call all 4 of us.
Yes, that's good.
And then it would be like, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so. And then they would say, like, introducing us. And then they would say, this is your whatever,
Yes.
right? And then we're dismissed, and then we go and play.
Yes.
You know. But then again, we were so close in age anyway. So I can understand where you're coming from, because if you were like 3, 4, and then your older brothers are like 10, 11, 15.
Or 15. They would probably want to know.
Then it might be a little bit
is.
difficult to call all of you and say, and then this 3-year-old in nappies is standing there, and they're like, this is Gertie, and then Gertie, this is your aunt, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I get it, but like, I know for us, it was almost, even at weddings or whatever, if he was asked to stand and introduce himself, he'd be like, my kids, stand up. And then we're all of us, we're all standing up, you know.
That's good, though. That's credit to your dad, as in, because that's probably
but I get what you mean. Yeah.
And what happens now when you're on the younger side, who doesn't know family, when you get married and you go to family functions, you're trying to introduce, because I'm in that position with my husband. We go to family functions and he's supposed to introduce me to his family. He knows they are aunties and uncles, but he doesn't know how. So sometimes that sort of creates that space between us. And then our children will know that that's uncle and auntie, but they don't know how.
The trouble is, the thing is, right, everyone is an uncle, everyone is an auntie.
That's the thing.
You can't differentiate from strangers. Like, this is a stranger.
Uncle family.
Because
uncle friend.
You know what? Because we used to say "Amaining Baba Ningi," right? You know, this is not my my uncle. This is so and so's father. This is so and so's mom, right? But then your uncle will be, or your aunt will be Sekura, Mbuya, Tete, all this. All of that, but. Here we just one umbrella term.
Everyone is auntie.
Everyone is auntie, everyone uncle.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what age.
Even your maid is auntie.
You know,
your neighbor auntie.
Up until a certain, obviously, I think there's an age limit depending on who you're introducing. So if you're introducing someone who's like in their 20s, you're not going to tell them that whoever you're introducing them to, who's in their 20s, is their aunt or uncle. Will just say this is your cousin. But if they are in their 20s, but you're introducing someone in their 40s, then you're like, well, this is your uncle.
Yeah.
You know, so
but this is the thing, right? Because what they do, you know, the British, the cocosity, what they do is they say, I'm Lawrence. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm introducing myself to you, I'm Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'm not your uncle, I'm your neighbor, I'm a workmate, I'm so-and-so, right? And that just feels wrong. Like, so you say, imagine your kid calling me, Lawrence. How would you feel?
I know, right?
Do you know what I mean? It just feels incorrect.
Or Gertrude.
Do you know what I mean? But that's your name. Because names are labels in there when you look at it, you know. Because I remember Robert used to say to his kids, this is your real uncle. This is your real aunt. You just differentiate. It's not the other. No,
it's not the other uncle.
It's not the other one. What do you mean? You know what I mean?
I know I remember when my nieces and nephews got to, particularly niece, because there's a bit of a gap between them, and every time I went to see my brother, I would say, "This is my brother." Like I would constantly just tell them, this is my brother, you know, like he's younger than me, and then there's, you know, so-and-so, you know, like just constantly having that conversation with them so that they know that I'm not just a random woman who comes to see them. I'm not just an aunt, you know, I'm actually this,
your
dad's
like, you
know how you guys are brother and sister? Yeah, that's the same with me and your dad, you know?
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing,
we're that close.
Do you know what that reminds me? When my sister was saying, was it Damien or was it Nathan, my nephew, saying, you know that woman Uncle Laurie married?
Oh no! Is that your nephew?
Yeah, saying that woman.
That woman Uncle Laurie married, meaning me. But yeah, but that was still fresh in the whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, they were like, this woman.
But now they just say Auntie Nyari.
Yeah. I mean, now they kind of realize that. Yeah, but I think it's right. Because
But I remember,
it's because,
when I first, I remember that. Oh, that was hilarious.
Oh, that's interesting.
So can you imagine you say that in show now? Oh my God. You'll be in trouble, wouldn't you? You'd be so wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of like the relationship I have with my nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
And I was quite sad because my other niece, she only met. I left Zimbabwe when she was 5, 6, and she came here last year.
Oh,
right.
How old is she now?
28.
Oh,
she's turning 29 this year.
Yeah, right. I try to compensate by trying to give her gifts, try to do something, but it's not the same. It's not the same as having this,
the ones you're used to.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, because there are some of them. I think they got the full uncle. They did, you know.
But now it's. I feel for you as well because yes, she's come here, but we've only managed to see her the once. Like she's come to visit us.
Yeah.
Where we fully had that experience with her and we took her out and we did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But because she lives in, is it Kettering or I can't remember.
Bedford.
Somewhere there.
Bedford, yeah.
So sometimes on our way to either Milton Keynes, we try to pass through, but then she's always working because that's the nature of the job that she got. Yeah. She's constantly working. Whenever we're free, she's not free when she's free. So you've not actually, since that one time we saw her and had, you know.
She came here, yeah. Because she came here and we went to, those nice cocktails, isn't it?
Yeah, we did a lot of things, actually. That was a really good weekend. But yeah, I just feel for you because it's like every time you try to say, let's meet her.
Yeah, I was going to see it. I was going to see it tomorrow, but then, my nephew has got chicken pox and COVID.
Oh, no. And COVID.
Yeah. So,
and then she finishes work at 8:30, so it's like he can't really wait.
That long, yeah. Unless I decide to go back, I'm not going to do that. I don't know if every other family is like that, though.
Do you know, another thing I actually think is, that COVID time, like lockdown, I think it sort of made it worse by normalizing people not seeing each other. Because after COVID, you don't just turn up to somebody's house. As in, I don't know. Before, I know it was there, but it wasn't as bad as it is. Because people it happened for too long, so much that it sort of normalized not seeing each other. I remember I had my daughter, that pregnancy, the COVID took the whole pregnancy. And afterwards, when I went to this family function, they were like, whose child is this? I was like, it's mine. It's mine. And they were like, no, since when? And I was like, wow, you wouldn't have known.
It's funny because everyone, like, even during that whole period, people would be asking me, oh, how's Gertie? Oh, does she still have her 2 boys? And then, she's got a daughter.
And I've always wanted to hide the pregnancies, so COVID enabled it. I just went into labor, and that was it. And I think they actually saw her like after 6 months or something, as in way after she was born.
Yeah.
And it was normal.
Yeah.
What was it? I think one thing I admire about Nya, we're in Nottingham, and her whole clan is
that's why she's not leaving.
Her whole clan is Nottingham, and I sort of admire like that togetherness. Or I think you do a lot for to connect with your nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
And for me, it was only recent that because I'm not one for WhatsApp groups. And I created one, right? Like, you know what?
Really?
I'm not one for it. Because I'll be put in groups and never
Did Nya convince you to do that then?
No.
Really?
No. It's only because I think I just seen some of the things you do. Well, what happened? There was a quiz, there's a quiz that she does. A family quiz, right? That was nice. That was a nice thing. I just thought, you know what? I wish I could do something like that. So.
But remember during COVID, I tried to get what I did actually.
You did, yeah.
For his birthday, because when lockdown, I was like, I got all their numbers. It was a secret.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And then we did a Zoom call.
Oh.
And then I was like, Laurie, we've got a Zoom call. And then he was like, is it one of those quizzes again? I was like, no, sit down, relax.
I was sitting here, I was so bothered, like, what is this?
Not again.
And then they all turned up, all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's
they all
nice.
turned up. So I was like, eh?
Except for Ryan.
Oh yeah, except for
Is that
Ryan.
your brother?
No.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's 24.
He's a year younger than Tara.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
27.
yeah. Ryan was born in 97.
So right.
He'd be 27.
No, he's 2 years younger than.
Yeah, so he shares a birthday with my mom.
Oh, okay.
You know what? He shares a birthday with my mom, and then Anes shares a birthday with my dad.
Oh.
Wow. Is that your nephew?
My nephew, yeah.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
yeah, one of my nephews is my mom, one of my nephews is my dad.
Yeah. Sounds like reincarnation.
And then I was gonna say something else, but anyway, never mind.
No, but it's interesting what you're saying about Nya. I know the podcast is not about Nya, but being about family. I think Nya is actually one person who's very deliberate, and she's very family oriented. To me, she's a friend, but she's more family, as in, if you know what I mean, as in the effort that she makes. You always know that when it comes to, like things that, I don't know how to describe it, but you know that if she goes somewhere, she will make an effort to do something for you or even to visit you. She actually owes it to herself, which is something that I think a lot of people who don't value family or who family relationships are getting strayed don't have. So I think you've got that. As in when it comes to family, it's a priority and you're deliberate about it. And that's credit.
How much have you paid? Yeah. I can see the same thing about you.
Yeah. Guys, I'm just blushing right here.
No, honestly, she's that one person who, like what you do for family. Like now, if you know that your brother doesn't have something, you're willing to pay whatever it takes, just like what you do, what your dad would do for you. And that's something which a lot of families no longer have, because it's like each man for himself, God for us all. But if you still maintain that, even with friends, this is probably where friends become family.
Yeah.
And especially in a country like England, if you don't have family, but you've got very good friends, you actually get more than what family would have given you. Yeah. And sometimes that's what makes you not value family, because your friends are probably doing what you would expect your family to do.
Yeah, the thing is, right, for me, look, for me, my family has been good. I have some really, really, really excellent friends that I always treasure, even if I don't have to speak to them often, but I know these are people I can count on.
Yes.
Right. Friends are there because they want to be around you.
Yes.
And then sometimes family is forced. They feel like,
default.
All right.
Default.
I know, right?
Oh,
Let me tell you something,
again.
right?
Yeah.
There was a time when things went okay for me, and I had no place to stay, and I felt like I was a burden to some of my family, right?
Yeah.
But I had friends who were so accepting.
Yes.
Come stay with me. Come do this. Come do this. Come do this.
Yes.
Even like the first few days when I got in this country, because I couldn't get a job. I had a bit of a difficult. I was supposed to live in London, but I had a bit of a difficult time. So I had my friend who was in Glasgow. Her name is Carol. Right, we grew up together in Zengeza and Chitungwiza. That's in Zimbabwe for anyone who doesn't know, right?
Yeah.
And she sent me money by post. I didn't have a bank account at the time, right?
Yeah.
She sent me money in an envelope, this Scottish pounds in an envelope, and she was like, if you can come to Glasgow and I will help you settle down. Do you know what I mean? Like she had that commitment. But this is someone I had known from Zimbabwe anyway. We just grew up together for years. I would have done it if things had gone different. If I didn't get a job, I didn't do whatever. I would have gone to Glasgow. I wouldn't even know you guys.
Thank God you didn't go.
You know what I mean, right? So like I said, there are some friends who become. He left and went to South
More
Africa.
than family, yeah.
But there are some friends who are like that. I think there's some things that your family would do for you, because when I look at it, right, they were their own spouses. Their own issues, their spouses, stuff. And then for me to crawl by myself and say, "Oh, look after me. I've got this, right?" Depending on the kind of crisis you're facing, you can't just say depend on your brother or your sister or whoever.
Yes,
it depends on the kind of issue you're having, because what you don't want is to be the source of a problem between. You don't want that.
Yeah. I know there's lots of family, dynamics. And so far we've spoken about the good bits, but there's also, toxic relationships within families.
Yeah.
Where it's like, like what you're saying, you can't really run out. They're your family. It's not
it's by default.
It's by default.
Yeah.
So, and then there's issues that happen, but then you meet up, but then you have issues, and then it becomes toxic, and it becomes a fight of some sort, and then maybe you don't talk to each other for months or years even, and then you come back, and then it's like, because you feel not forced, but it's like...
There's an obligation.
There's an obligation, and because there's so few of us in this country, like what I was saying, that most of my family is in Zimbabwe or whatever, and then maybe there's just like 3 or 4 of you here, and then you're like, you feel forced to connect, because it's like
there's not many of you.
Yeah.
But it's funny you're saying that, because in some families, even though there are few of them, they still have serious tensions and problems, so much that they don't talk. And it's actually made me realize that love is actually a soft skill. It's not, it just doesn't come because you're family.
Yeah.
You can actually, I'm not sure whether it's down to upbringing or personalities, but I've actually come to realize from looking at families who are very close and then looking at families who are not that close, as in, I've had times when I've wondered how that happens. As in, you don't talk to, say, your sibling for a very long time, so much that even if you hear that something has happened to them, because normally, like say it's my family with my siblings, if I fall out with my brother, for example, the minute he hears I'm in hospital, he's there, or a phone call, and you can see the worry that he's got, and he's like willing to do anything. So it's sad that with some families, even tragedies don't bring them back together, as in, which makes me realize whether it's the love that's not there.
For me, I'll put it down to personality, because I'm the kind of person, like, I don't burn bridges. Like, if I stop talking to you, I won't do it out of anger. I'm so angry that I hate you or something like that. I'm not that kind of person. If I have a problem, I try to sort it out. If you stop talking, the reason shouldn't be because I'm angry. I try to do that most times, right? Because most of the issues we have is a clash of personalities and ego. And it's just like it's a matter of like
pride.
It's sometimes it's like, oh, I'm older, right? Or you should respect me or something like that, right? Because I think when I was, say, 25, I was the young brother, right? Right now, I'm still the young brother. I'm not a young person. Do you know what I mean? Right? I'm 47. I turned 47.
Interesting. No,
do you know what I mean?
That.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing that there's a maturity that I have that I expect my siblings or my family to respect.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not the eternal young brother.
That's
because,
powerful.
Because do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. But someone else can easily see you as, oh, my young brother. I'm still a young brother.
You're young, but you're not young.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and because sometimes I found like when I was talking to my brothers, there's a wisdom I have. I once remember at Rob's birthday party, when he said he remembers what I told him before, because he was having some difficulties. He remembered me telling him that trouble only lasts for a while.
Yeah.
Right, because that's quite true.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's quite true.
Yeah.
Right. So like for me, I feel like there's a wisdom that I have.
Yeah.
Right. Just as an aside, that came from a song by the Sons of Blackness. Trouble only lasts for a while. My brother, don't give up. You just keep on hanging on.
Wow. I wish I could sing with you. You have such a good voice. You know?
Wow.
What can you say?
I'm just blessing you with it.
That's sweetheart. What can you say?
You know?
No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a song from the 90s.
Yes.
So
no Sounds of Blackness, but
Sounds of Blackness,
the song. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah. So it's that thing that sometimes some of the problems will come up because you don't get respect, or you don't get respected, or you feel you're not being respected. You feel like I deserve this, I deserve that.
Entitlement.
There's this entitlement that because it's people say this a lot.
It's a syndrome.
You have to earn respect.
Yes,
You know?
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me to say this. Would I be the same person? Would you be the same person? Do you think you'd be the same kind of person?
If you're still...
Yeah, family-wise, do you think you'd still be the same person if you were in Zimbabwe?
I don't think so.
I think I would if Zimbabwe was not what it is financially.
No. Please, why don't you get to slam Zimbabwe, okay?
No. What I'm trying to say is, if you're in a disadvantaged position, like maybe, like what Gertis was saying about when her brother came and gave her £20, and then we're like, wow, that kind of thing.
Salary,
3 months salary, all this kind of stuff. So, if you're in that disadvantaged sort of state where it's like, you feel like, oh, they have the money, I don't know, whatever. I don't know, maybe. But then if I had my own things in Zimbabwe and I was, I think I would be the same person. I think. That I am now.
So. For me, I don't think so.
If I'm to be honest,
obviously there's things that have changed me or whatever, I don't know. But generally, I think I'll be the same person.
Well,
my mentality has actually changed over the years because of being here. Like a good example would have been, when we were in Zimbabwe, my mom always used to have a maid, for example, because helper. Yes. Because she had a lot of young children. And with her job, she was a teacher.
How many were you in your family?
9.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
So they were, yes. So she always had younger children who she needed help with, because teaching, you know how fast-paced it is. As in, you go back home, you've got marking to do, so you would need help. And the amount of money they get paid, so we used to take that for granted, as in, you just leave your plates there and she would pick up after you guys and, stuff like that. And then being here, where there is nothing like that, the first time I went back home and the maid was still there, my dad was poorly, do you know, I had this gratitude towards her, because I was looking at maids here or helpers here. If you had one, that would be me, as in, that's the job I would be doing. I would just go and look after the person I'm looking after. If they've got family there, I'm just there for I'm a carer for Laurie. If Nyari is there, or these nephews or these children, they sort themselves out. Right. But then when I went back home, that maid was looking after my brothers. My dad was poorly, who she was there for. And then when I went there, she would iron things, she would do all these sorts. But because of my years here and how it is here, I had this gratitude where I was thinking, with the amount of money we pay her, I think it was like £10 or less than that. So one of the days, one of my cousins came, and out of gratitude to this helper, I wanted to give her like brand new shoes from here. And I remember my cousin saying, why would you give it to a maid, as in a helper? Give them to me and I'll give her some of mine. Yeah. And I felt like, no, that's so entitled, as in this person, you have come because I'm here. But this person is looking after my father. And with the amount of work that she's doing and the amount of money we're paying her, she deserves a lot more. What I'm giving her is not even worth what she deserves. But then if I had not come here, that's the life. As in, I would have just been like, oh yeah, that's her job. That's what she does. So I think in a way, it sort of changes. I think answering your question, as in, do you think a lot has changed because of your coming here?
Yeah, because I think, I feel like there's a shift in my... Obviously,
mindset,
there's a shift in mindset. Yeah, I was going to say paradigm. I was trying to think of paradigm.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say paradigm.
You're allowed to say that.
You can say both. Say both.
Right? So it's
paradigm shift.
Is that shift, right? But it's quite difficult to gauge, though, because if I've spent most of my adult life here, I can't really judge what I could be like. But when I look at some of my peers, some of the people I grew up with, right, there's a kind of a difference in how we look at things, how we see some things. And I feel like I'm lucky to have this exposure to be somewhere else. Yeah. That way I can look back and say, oh, I used to be like this. Right. I'm sure, I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just saying like this, there's a shift. Some of it, I don't know if it's good or not. Yeah. Right. Because I know I don't call people. I've got loads of cousins that I think, you know what, I think I should speak to so and so. I should text them, and I just don't. And not for any. There's no good reason for it. I just fail to do it. No. I just say I'm going to do it, and then I just don't.
You just don't.
Like I'm thinking about it now. I can't do it. It's midnight. It will be weird. They're thinking, who has died now? Do you know what I mean?
Before you know it, it's 3 months, and you never got to.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think about it at odd times. So anyway, so I've got a test for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a book called Passing the Life in the UK test.
Okay.
You two people are British, so you should know the answers.
Like I said, I took it in 2011, and I have not looked at that book since 2011.
Well, no, now we are more experienced after this. I just opened the page. Let's see. Which 2 examinations do young people take at 16? You're the teacher.
GCSE.
Yeah.
There's GCSE,
and
age... This is an odd book, isn't it? GCSE, AGCE, SQA standard grade, and SQA higher grade. Is it still?
I know the GCSE, but unless if it's like from other countries as well, as in like Scotland or whatever. But GCSE.
This is 2009.
Really?
So things have changed.
No, but GCSE definitely.
GCSE, but they keep changing things.
The answers are
it's a requirement.
Oh my God, this is a very silly question. Valentine's Day is on...
It's in 4 days' time. Is it 4 days? 5 days' time.
What's the date? 14th February. Okay. Since we have a teacher here, in English
I'm not
schools,
a teacher in this context.
In English schools,
I'm
from Lift As You Rise. Yes, from Lift As You Rise.
In English schools, how many stages is the curriculum divided into? 5, 4, 3, and 6. Oh my God.
It's key stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's 5.
5. Okay.
Let's see the answer.
I'm not even looking at the answers.
No, because that's throughout primary and secondary, isn't it?
Okay.
As in primary, they've got 2 stages, key stage 1 and 2. And then secondary, we've got 3 and 4. that's up to GCSE, and then Key Stage 5 A-levels.
Okay. Yeah. So like I didn't find actually. If next time I'll be so prepared. Whoever's gonna come next is gonna be in trouble.
Make sure the questions are still relevant. Not
Yeah.
not GCSE and SQL.
No. I'm going to buy the newer book.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a newer book because this was during not Blair, Gordon Brown's time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
2009.
All right. So anyway, I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, because we always. I think the aim is to have a podcast that's less than an hour. We've gone.
How many hours have you done?
This is hour and 5 minutes so far.
Oh, okay.
But
that's
you're
not
going to
too bad.
edit the
Do you know what?
first part, isn't it?
Well, yeah, a little bit, but it still be
It can be a blooper.
Oh, okay.
No. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to, grace us with your
My
words.
pleasure. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And, I've known you for 20 years.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
But
you know
there
what?
were some things.
You should have asked.
There were some things I did not know about you. So it's a good
Like
thing.
what?
Huh?
Like what?
No,
What
some
did
of
you
the
not
stuff that
know?
you're talking about. So I was like,
oh.
am I in a test now?
Yeah.
No,
like
I'm
in the
just
UK.
thinking. I assumed everything I said you would know.
No, there was a few things I was like, oh, okay. As you were talking, but because you were talking between the two of you, it was more like...
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, when did you come to UK?
2002.
2002, which month?
Yeah. January.
Oh, right.
She's
okay.
older than you then.
Yeah, older than me. Yeah, I came November 2002.
And then I met Nyari 2003, and it?
And probably.
Yeah.
I came 2003 September.
And she was so confident and loud. And I was like, wow, Tawanda's sister. Because Harold was like, oh, let's go and see Tawanda's sister came from Zimbabwe. And then we went.
Were you
So how old are you? She was asking us questions, Nyari. She sounded like this British kid. You know how British kids are good at asking, what's your name? How old are you?
Are you my uncle?
Yes.
Are you auntie?
Yeah. Then she was like, so how long have you been here for? Oh, yeah, I've been here I only came, whatever. And then next thing, we were going to a party with Harold. It would go and pick up Nyari.
Your thing is,
Okay.
your sister's birthday was the following.
Okay. Hang on a second. Let's close the show.
Oh, you're still recording?
Let's close the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Catch us next time. So the
Peace.
podcast will come out every 2 weeks. That's the plan. And tell others. And there will be a phone number in the description. So you can send
A WhatsApp number.
A WhatsApp number, yeah. So
When you say phone number, it feels like I have to dial.
well, it's still a phone number. Okay, there will be a mobile number or a cell phone number. There will be a cell phone number, so you'll be able to leave a voice note via WhatsApp, and that phone is never switched on.
Oh dear.
Don't try to contact us any other time.
You're
No one is
not
going to
recording,
answer.
are you?
No, it's just making sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so no one is going to answer.
How long is it switched on for?
Just before we do the show, when we're preparing for the show, that is when we listen to the voice notes. Okay. Yeah. Or when you ask, like, can you send something? Yeah, because what you're gonna want is for someone to try to contact us through that. That's
All
not gonna
right.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah, no, I think it will be just for voice notes, for people to send their voice notes.
Yeah.
As contribution to the
Or
show.
text.
So
And then
not text messages, just voice notes.
Okay.
Now what we'll do is in the future, we'll be able to add some contributions. Like in this case, after this, right? In the next show, when you listen, we can add. Just say, oh, this is what people said about the previous show, and then add a few. But we'll figure it out in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.